Hi, this is a video response to J.H. Bowden concerning your video entitled Ron Paul Sucks. And I just wanted to congratulate you. You established yourself as a credible expert just with the title alone. So congratulations, you are now a member of the elite group of people who can label your videos with such class that they defy description. You said that Ron Paul is running as a Republican. Well, that's very astute of you. That's because he has served in Congress for 10 terms as a Republican. You know, amazing as it is, that's probably why he's running as a Republican candidate for the presidency. I know. I can't figure it out either. I'm telling you the truth. I just can't figure out why a Republican for 20 years in Congress would be so inclined as to presuppose that he could run as a Republican candidate for the presidency. I just don't get the logic to that at all. You added that God knows why Ron Paul is running as a Republican. Well, I'm glad you know that God is on his side. Because God does know why Ron Paul is running as a Republican. It's because he's been a congressman for 20 years as a Republican. I already told you that one. Now, this is where one of the most brilliant things you said on your video really stands out. You said that he's rating it about 1% in the polls. Then you said, so why is everybody voting for him? That reminds me of a friend of mine from St. Louis who knew Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra was always had a gift for dry humor like yours. And he said one time when they were all going to go out to a crowded club in East St. Louis, he said, hey, don't go to that club. Nobody goes there anymore. It's just too crowded. Well, you know, it's like you saying, you know, Ron Paul is at 1%, 2%. So why is everybody voting for him? I know I'm twisting your words, but hey, it's my video. I love the part where you said that he knows nothing about history. So then you began to educate all of us with your profound knowledge of history. Let's start with the first war in history. You said, oh wait, I'm going to start over on this. The next thing you said that caught my attention was that he knows nothing about history. He's stating that Republicans have had a history of being non-interventionist. You said Thomas Jefferson is not a hippie peacenik. I just want you to know that Thomas Jefferson has passed away, but I am curious about the pictures of the men I'm about to show you. And maybe Thomas Jefferson isn't dead. Take a good look. Big similarities, I'm telling you. Now, you talked about the hippie world view. I don't know where hippie world is. And so if I don't know where the hippie world is, how can I know what kind of view they got? You know, I mean, you got to think these things through sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Now, you really began educating us about history when you said that our first war was against Islamic fanatics. Of all people, you know, the Barbary pirates. Now, anybody who knows a little bit about history knows that, of course, the Republicans went out looking for the Barbary pirates, and attacked them, just willy-nilly. We just attacked them. We did because we wanted Barbary, because everybody had long hair, as you can see from the previous photos, and we needed to get that fixed. The fact is that the reason we fought the Barbary pirates is because they attacked our merchant ships, and we did fight on the shores of Tripoli, and we kicked butt, and we formed the U.S. Navy from that effort. That wasn't an act of aggression by the Republicans. That was a response to our merchant ships being attacked. Come on, do your homework. Ron Paul is not against defending our country. Ron Paul is against attacking countries unprovoked. That's all he's saying. He was for us going after Osama bin Laden, and he voted for that. Do your homework. Next, you talked about the Spanish-American War. And you said that it was started and run by the Republicans, but again, you missed the boat. The Spanish were really wreaking havoc in the world, and they were attacking us especially when they sunk the battleship Maine. And so we responded. Not to do so would have been a disaster. Again, you don't know your history, either that or you're slanting it because you have a view that you can't support with facts. Then you talked about blowback theory. Ron Paul didn't make that up. Ron Paul simply quoted the 9/11 Commission report, the CIA reports. Blowback is something that intelligence communities talk about. Blowback is a result of our actions. If we do something, what's the blowback to that? He didn't make it up, so quit trying to make it sound like he's some kind of radical making up terms kind of guy, you anti-Hippite. Now the last thing I'm going to comment on is what you said about Islamist extremists are killing all over the world. I agree, they are. But the fact is, the Republican Party that you claim to be a part of has really gotten away from its roots because they're trying to open up the borders. Look at what McCain tried to do and Bush was pushing this through for the amnesty bill. That was just a precursor to opening up the borders. They're trying to open up the borders between us and Mexico, and the best way to do that is to start offering amnesty to people. Do your homework. If you look at the Republican Party, you'd understand that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are both singing off the same sheet of music. They're both catering to big government. They're both catering to big corporate interests. And that is definitely not what the Founding Fathers were in favor of. So if you wouldn't get so mad at Ron Paul for being a hippie peacenik, as you seem to think he is, then just look at what the man has said. You can read any of his speeches for the past 20 years. Do some homework. The rest of us are, and we're falling in love with this guy.